In the world of music, few bands can truly define an era and sustain influence like ABBA. Millions across the globe have been captivated by their immortal songs, from the glittering Dancing Queen to the deeply tragic The Winner Takes It All. Yet behind the dazzling spotlight and sequined costumes, ABBA was built by a quiet musical architect, Benny Andersson. It was he who, over decades, compressed complex emotional shades into every chord, creating the soul for the music that conquered the world. Benny's story is not just a journey from the traditional Schlager melodies of his childhood to the zenith of the Eurovision Song Contest. It is also a lesser-known hidden side of personal struggle and family turmoil. At the age of 78, Benny has openly shared the truth behind the difficulties, the mysterious disbandment of the group, and their astonishing rebirth through the modern ABBA Voyage project. ABBA is not an ordinary pop group. They are an eternal cultural icon. Benny Andersson's story is a profound deciphering of the price of artistic perfection, the interwoven relationship between brilliant success and personal breakdown, and how a musical legend found truth and acceptance after decades of silence. The quiet architect of pop perfection, Benny Andersson, was born on December 16, 1946, in Stockholm. Music was less a career choice and more a birthright, deeply woven into his working-class family heritage. Both his father, Gösta, and grandfather, Ephraim, were accordion players. From an early age, Benny absorbed the sounds of traditional Swedish music, particularly the melodic style known as Schlager and folk tunes. This musical education began formally at age 6 when he received his own accordion. Crucially, Benny was self-taught, moving to the piano at age 10 and demonstrating an uncanny natural talent, often able to reproduce melodies after hearing them just once. By age 15, his dedication to music surpassed his interest in school, prompting him to leave and start performing in local youth clubs. Benny's professional journey began in October 1964, when he joined the pop band The Hep Stars as their keyboardist. Almost overnight, their sound transformed. Following their 1965 breakthrough hit, Cadillac, Benny rapidly became the group's main creative force. He proved his talent for composing catchy, yet melodically strong tunes, writing major hits for the band, including No Response, Sunny Girl, Wedding, and Consolation. This period was pivotal, not only for honing Benny's songwriting skills, but also for forging the relationships that would define his life. In June 1966, he met Björn Ulvaeus, starting a collaborative songwriting partnership that would rewrite pop history. Simultaneously, personal connections were formed. Benny began a relationship with singer Anni-Frid Frida Lingstad, while Björn met Agnetha Fältskog. These intertwined musical and romantic bonds between the four members laid the essential foundation for the formation of ABBA, marking the moment Benny's quiet musical genius was ready for the world stage. In the early 1970s, the personal and creative relationships among the four gradually transformed into a musical entity. Benny and Björn, having already made their mark as songwriters, began working regularly with their partners, Agnetha and Anni-Frid. They supported each other in recording sessions and performances, creating an incredibly powerful vocal harmony. The group's first official step came in 1972 with the song People Need Love, released under the lengthy name Björn and Benny, Agnetha and Anni-Frid. Although it was only a modest success, the single proved that their combination held something special, enough to move forward. 1973 was an important year when the group decided to streamline its brand. Driven by their manager Stig Andersson, they officially shortened their name to ABBA, taken from the first letter of each member's name. Initially, this was just a joke, even coinciding with the name of a famous Swedish fish canning company, but it quickly became a global identifying icon. That same year, despite not winning the Melodifestivalen, the Swedish pre-selection contest for Eurovision, Their song Ring Ring still swept the charts, becoming a major hit in several European countries and South Africa, proving their undeniable international potential. The historic turning point came in 1974. Determined to return, ABBA brought the glam rock-infused and vibrant song Waterloo to the Melodifestivalen and subsequently the Eurovision Song Contest. Their victory in Brighton, UK on April 6, 1974, was not just an award. It was a cultural explosion that instantly catapulted ABBA to international superstardom. Waterloo reached #1 in 9 countries and successfully broke into the US top 10, ushering in an era where the music of Benny Andersson and his partners would dominate the charts for the rest of the decade. ABBA's career was no longer confined to Sweden. It had become a global legacy. Following the global launch of Waterloo, ABBA cemented their status as pop royalty throughout the mid to late 1970s. This was the group's golden era, marked by a relentless release schedule of albums and singles that consistently dominated charts worldwide. Hits like SOS, Mamma Mia, and Fernando became cultural staples, transforming the band from a Eurovision phenomenon into a permanent fixture in music history. The commercial success was monumental. Their compilation album, Greatest Hits, released 1976, became their first UK #1 album and featured the timeless track Fernando, which alone sold over 10 million copies globally. The band's ability to craft songs that were technically perfect and emotionally resonant peaked with the release of their defining hit, Dancing Queen. This song, which topped charts around the world, including in the United States, propelled them to unparalleled heights. The following albums, including Arrival and the disco-infused Voulez-Vous, 1979, continued to spawn hits like Chiquitita and Gimme Gimme Gimme, A Man After Midnight. The album Super Trooper later broke UK records, generating over 1 million pre-orders, a staggering testament to their market power. Beyond the studio, ABBA's live presence was electric. They embarked on major sold-out tours across Europe, North America, and particularly Australia, where their popularity reached fever pitch. The 1977 Australian tour was so intense and attracted such massive crowds that it was immortalized in the documentary-style feature film ABBA the Movie. By the end of the decade, the group showcased their global ambition by tapping into new markets, notably releasing a Spanish-language album which gained immense popularity across Latin America. ABBA was no longer just selling records. They were a financial and cultural powerhouse, a machine built on the foundation of Benny Andersson's melodic genius and Björn Ulvaeus's clever lyrics, seemingly unstoppable. The golden era of ABBA, built on the romantic partnerships of the members, began to fracture dramatically in the early 1980s. The relentless pressure of fame, combined with constant creative demands, took a heavy toll on the two marriages holding the group together. Björn and Agnetha's divorce in 1979 was the first public crack. While they attempted to maintain a professional front, insisting personal life wouldn't interfere with their duty, the air in the studio grew noticeably heavy. This pain seeped directly into their work, most famously with the searing lyrics of The Winner Takes It All. Though the members always publicly denied the song was a direct mirror of their own divorce, the raw emotion in Agnetha's performance turned the track into a global confession set to music. Tragedy repeated itself when Benny and Annie Frid separated in 1980, finalizing their divorce in 1981. With both couples now broken, the collaborative atmosphere that had fueled their greatest hits fundamentally shifted. The fractures were starkly reflected in their final album, The Visitors, 1981. Gone were the carefree disco anthems. The album was a mature, darker exploration of themes like broken relationships, political oppression, and the loss of innocence. The title track itself was even viewed as an allusion to secret meetings against totalitarian regimes. From 1981 to 1982, the creative machine struggled to move forward. The group faced significant difficulty composing and recording, with several tracks being delayed or shelved entirely. The magic was visibly dimming, replaced by exhaustion and emotional distance. Instead of a full new album, they released the compilation The Singles, the first 10 years, including their final new tracks, The Day Before You Came and Under Attack. The latter would tragically become ABBA's final single before their unofficial disbandment. The era quietly concluded with their last public performance in December 1982, broadcast via television from Stockholm, ending the most successful pop story in history not with a bang, but with a sudden, deafening silence, driven equally by personal heartbreak and professional exhaustion. ABBA was truly unique, defined not just by its sound but by its very structure, a band built upon two real-life married couples. This romantic foundation initially amplified their charm, making their love songs feel profoundly authentic. Agnetha and Björn married in 1971 and had 2 children, but the constant demands of global stardom, touring, recording, and media scrutiny proved too much for their union. They separated in 1979 at the height of ABBA's success. The fallout was particularly devastating for Agnetha. The pressures contributed to her deep-seated stage fright and crippling fear of flying. She faced a grueling emotional labor, being forced to sing heart-wrenching songs about separation, often written by her ex-husband, which masked her intense psychological struggles. Similarly, the relationship between Benny and Annie Fried followed a parallel tragic trajectory. They began living together in 1969 and finally married in 1978, only to separate just 2 years later in 1980, with their divorce finalized in 1981. The split was painful for Frida, intensified by Benny's quick move to marry TV producer Mona Nerklet shortly thereafter. Both couples attempted the near-impossible task of separating their personal heartbreak from their professional duty, continuing to work together within ABBA, but the delicate emotional chemistry that had fueled their greatest collaborations was irreversibly broken. Following the band's demise, the 4 members took sharply diverging paths. Benny and Björn quickly channeled their prodigious creative energy into hugely successful ventures, most notably the musical Chess and the phenomenon of Mamma Mia, securing their financial and creative legacies well beyond ABBA. In stark contrast, the lives of the 2 women were marked by retreat and personal struggle. Agnetha withdrew dramatically from the public eye, seeking seclusion in the Swedish countryside, battling her anxieties and the emotional fallout from difficult relationships. Annie Fried similarly stepped away from the spotlight, seeking a private life that offered protection from the glare of fame. While the male architects continued their winning streak, the female voices, who had delivered the emotional core of the music, chose a path defined by quietude and distance from the world that had both celebrated and shattered their relationships. While the curtain fell abruptly on ABBA's performing career in 1982, the musical output of its architects did not cease. Björn and Benny seamlessly transitioned their partnership into new, highly successful projects. They co-wrote the hit musical Chess in the 1980s, and most famously created the global phenomenon Mamma Mia for both stage and film, ensuring their relevance and financial stability continued to grow exponentially. Meanwhile, the 2 female vocalists retreated from the intense glare of the spotlight. Both Agnetha and Annie Fried endured years of personal struggles, isolation, and profound losses, choosing quieter, more private lives far removed from the public stage that had both defined and destroyed their marriages. For decades, the idea of an ABBA reunion remained the music world's most persistent and seemingly impossible dream. The group consistently rejected huge offers, including a reported $1 billion for a series of concerts in the early 2000s, a clear sign that they were uninterested in chasing past glory or reliving the emotional strain. Yet, remarkably, a quiet shift occurred around 2018. The 4 members began working together again, initially planning just 2 new songs. This spark of collaboration quickly expanded, eventually culminating in the release of their first new album in 40 years, Voyage, in 2021. Their return to the public sphere, however, was revolutionary. Instead of touring live, which would have subjected the members to their old anxieties, they launched the groundbreaking ABBA Voyage concert project in 2022 in London. This ambitious show features digital avatars, known as ABBAtars, lifelike versions of the group from their 1979 prime, backed by a live 10-piece band. The project proved to be a critical and commercial triumph, injecting £322 million into the British economy, selling over 1 million tickets at prices up to £181.50. This innovative move allowed ABBA to conquer a new generation on their own terms, preserving the magic of their peak, while finally protecting the fragile emotional well-being of the human beings behind the music. Despite the pain and dramatic separation that occurred over 4 decades ago, the bonds forged by shared history and transcendent music proved unbreakable. This enduring connection was put on moving display on May 27, 2025, during the 3rd anniversary celebration of the ABBA Voyage show in London. Benny Andersson and Annifrid Lyngstad made a rare, unannounced joint appearance in the arena balcony, generating an enormous emotional reaction from the fans. Seeing the former spouses standing side by side, sharing a gentle, easy laughter, offered a profound moment of closure for millions. Their enduring relationship, though no longer romantic, is characterized by mutual respect. Benny once shared the simple rationale they adopted when the group fractured. "Frida and I are still friends. We decided to stay together for the sake of the music," Frida, always the more emotionally candid, reflected on their separation with stark honesty. "We simply grew out of each other. Breaking up became a necessity." She admitted there were many tears and discussions, but ultimately, there was no way back. This public moment at Voyage was a powerful testament to the fact that while the romantic partnerships defining ABBA had failed, the underlying human connection survived. It was a silent, emotional revelation. The two individuals who had endured the most public scrutiny and private heartbreak demonstrated a friendship that had not only endured time and personal tragedy, but had emerged stronger. Their shared presence at the modern marvel of Voyage symbolized that the story of ABBA, and of the human beings behind it, was still being written, characterized by dignity and a timeless bond. The creative partnership between Benny and Bjorn proved to be truly eternal, thriving long after the sequined jumpsuits were retired. Their musical genius transitioned seamlessly from pop charts to the world of theater, securing a second massive legacy. They continue to dominate stages globally, culminating in the unique achievement of having 2 of their biggest stage hits, Mamma Mia and Chess, running concurrently on Broadway. Mamma Mia, in particular, is a phenomenon. Performed in over 50 countries and seen by more than 70 million people, it became one of Broadway's longest-running shows, reportedly grossing over $7 billion. This sustained success demonstrates the extraordinary strength of their creative bond, a melodic connection that has spanned over half a century and continues to influence generations of artists and fans. The genius of ABBA lies in this enduring quality. Though the band was nearly destroyed by personal pressure and heartbreak, their music and legacy have not only survived, but have amplified their influence. The reunion, marked by the technologically pioneering ABBA Voyage project, didn't attempt to recreate the past. It redefined their future. By using avatars, they connected their vibrant peak to the present day, showcasing their ability to innovate and confirm the timeless value of their compositions. Benny Andersson, the quiet architect, ultimately gave the world a catalog of songs that transcended divorce, tragedy, and time. His truth, that he coded his deepest pain into the music, is precisely why those songs resonate today. They are deeply human, messy, and real beneath the gloss. The journey of Benny Andersson is the ultimate pop paradox, the man who built a kingdom on perfection, only to realize the music was his escape from his own fragility. His honesty, finally offered at 78, doesn't just explain ABBA's disappearance. It deepens the meaning of every song we've ever loved. What emotion do you now hear most clearly in ABBA's music, knowing the true story behind its creation? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and follow for more stories about the legends who define music history.